All right, how's it going, everybody? Thanks for the people that popped back in after the earlier stream we did today. Uh, Give me 1 second. Thought I had everything all set up. You know how these goes. It seems like the more I stream, the more I'm falling apart. I had my glove here somewhere. I just gotta find it. What we're gonna be working on today is RPG cards. I think I've got this one and one or two more that need to be done in the rough stages. So this here would be this. I guess you could call this a rough. For me, it's more of a thumbnail that was blown up to the resolution that we need. Uh, then the roughs that I'll do are a little bit more tight so that I can take it from that stage to line art. So here we go. We're all set. Okay, so let's get some perspective going here. Yeah, you too, Keeman. Thanks, man. AK, welcome, welcome. I don't think this that perspective's not gonna work. We need this going here. Let's try that. That's weird. How can I? Maybe we gotta try this. So even on the same point. Cool. Just got the print you sent me. Oh, okay. Did they show up in one piece, man? Red Streak, how's it going? Welcome, buddy. Wow. How many months ago was that now, AK, that I sent those? It's been a while. All right. So let's have a little look, see here, see what we're gonna do. Hey, Gamer Glitch, how's it going, buddy? So the perspective here is actually a little wonky, like from what I'm trying to show. Let me just try to break this in. So this would be the railing. Although I feel like it might be just a little too small. Oh Jesus! It sounded like my whole house was just moving. It's so windy out there. I literally, the area that I'm in, like I shouldn't have been able to hear that. Wow, it's crazy windy out now. Oh yeah, that's no joke. Give me a second here. I'm gonna just for my safety. I'm sure I'm sure nothing bad's gonna happen. I just want to check out the weather network here. Uno momento. Weather network. Dun, 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 dun. This just in. Let's see. Special weather statement. I knew it. Strong winds are expected today. Okay. Rain, gusty winds up to 90 kilometers in inbound. All right. How long is this supposed to go on for? Rain in about 5 minutes, it says. Cool, cool, cool. Let's see. All right. Maybe like an hour or two. 4 months ago. God damn. And it arrived perfect condition. Great. Glad to hear it. I hope you enjoyed them anyway. Even if you don't put them up, or they're just something you can like look at every now and then. Hope you dig it. All right. So let's put in the other building here. Oh, I didn't sign. What? What? Really? I signed everything. Shit. Sorry, dude. I could have swore I signed it. Apologize, man. Highly unprofessional. I don't know why I wouldn't have signed it. Looks like he's breakdancing. Alright, let's try this thing. Every now and then. Oh, I'm drawing on the wrong fucking layer. Whoa, okay. That's great. Drawing the wrong layer, gosh. Okay. So have you guys seen this stuff where you can draw like layouts on the ground and then you use like your perspective grid to sort of like enlarge it or grow it? So like an example would be I'm gonna try it on the fly here, doing just like a generic barbecue. So let's put it in perspective. It's like a circle. But here would be the feet. And we just raise it up. Like that. Let's get the circle going. So circle's probably going to be up. Let's put it up here. With these legs we can Actually, let's bring this over here. Oops, forgot to do one thing here. Where are we going? Right there. Should we put the lame and traditional kiss the chef bullshit on him? Let's do it. Hey Ben, welcome back. Hey dude, I'm glad the stream is back. Could you talk a bit about how you plan to monetize JESOP aside from Patreon? So this whole first year, I've just decided not to worry about that. I just want to make content and see if there's growth or if there's a reason to go forward. And so, okay, just to, I guess, keep saying the same thing over and over again here with it, is I'm not trying to make it a full-time gig or anything like that just yet. And it's not like JESOP is like I'm putting all my chips in that basket. That's just the first thing to get me started. The point of JESOP was, one, to make comic book pages so I can call myself a comic book artist, right? And two is to expand my audience base. So one thing I'm finding, and I'll get back to specifically the money part, but one thing that I've definitely found out through how I've been doing it so far is I imagine the comic is reaching an audience. I don't know how much of that audience is converting to money or anything until I pull the trigger for that, right? Like Patreon's there, but I haven't noticed like an explosive growth there because everything's for free right now. So we'll see how that goes. The streams that I do, they're getting around, I don't know, it jumps between 10 to, I think we were up to 35 once, which is good. So those numbers are like, again, it's all slow. It's all very slow. Trying to think what else to say here. So there's that. But trying to ask people to spend money when there's nothing really available just yet was rubbing me the wrong way. So I wanted to prove to people that there's something worth spending money on, if that makes sense. So that's why this whole first year, it's because there's so much to learn. I've never made a webcomic. I've never had to do this on my own, to try to be taken seriously. So I knew going in that a lot of this is going to be a learning process. So if to add on top of that is how to make money off of it, would have been a lot. And I feel like I would have compromised certain decisions in terms of that. So it is what it is. And saying all that, kind of what I'm thinking is Patreon right now is a big one, just because of it's for people that are interested in it. How I'll be changing the comic going forward is I'll be releasing them by issues, so it won't be like a page every 2 weeks, or I mean, it won't be a page every Monday to Friday. Instead, I'm changing it issue based. So once an issue is done, then I'll post it everywhere, and then I'll disappear, make more issues, and then once the next issue is done after that, do the same thing. So with Patreon in this case, I'll be posting them on there like a month before they go live anywhere else. So for the people that are actually into the story, right, you get it before anybody else. It's some other stuff like if you're not on Patreon with me and stuff like that. I like to share some of the process stuff, but I want to be doing more of that stuff. So there's that. Outside of that, it's always been my belief that I want to really explore the digital aspect of this whole freelance independent thing. In my opinion, I think it's too much effort, and this might sound like, well, then you get nothing because you're not trying hard enough. And I'm kind of I don't agree with that, but I think trying to compete with everybody at a comic book convention, and trying to stand in front of people to get their attention, it's a gamble. It's like a strong gamble. The cost to make a printed book, all that stuff. I'm not willing to risk that much. I think it's too much of a gamble. So I'm trying to leverage, or I will try to leverage what digital does. And I know not a lot of people like digital comics, but well, that's not true. I did a poll last year. I want to actually do another one coming up soon. And on that poll, I asked, how do people read their comics? Is it through paper? Is it digital, like a tablet or something, or a smartphone? Like a tablet computer or a smartphone. There's the three options. And the computer tablet was, I think, let's say it was 18, and the people that actually read comic books was like 15 or 14. And then phone was like 9 or 10. So what that was telling me is combined with a phone, digital, it gets in people's faces more, right? So I'm more interested in trying to make money that way. So some things that I know of are, I think there's Comixology. I haven't looked into that. Again, through Patreon or Gumroad, or setting anything up yourself, selling it as a PDF, those are some of the examples. So again, I don't know what like to replace the day job and stuff, you know, not to say that I wouldn't go through Image or any of those places. I'd have to look more into them. It's just I know with a lot of that stuff is you need money up front because it's paper, right? You got to pay for that stuff, and I'm not really willing to do that unless I notice like I don't know, social media or some other accounts that I have just blow up. Like people are like, you know, if all of a sudden I post like issue 2 of JESOP and it gets like shared on Facebook and stuff like 1,000 times, you know what I mean? And you notice like an explosive growth in people following you, then I think then it might be time to look into a Kickstarter or something. But I don't believe that just because I don't have a Kickstarter, I'm not growing. Does that make sense? So we'll see. This first year is just the content. Next year, still content, but now I'm going to start pushing, see if I can make a little bit of cheese on it. You know, I'm not looking to replace the day job or anything like that just yet. So we'll see how it goes. But that's essentially my my non-existent plan. 45 in Twitch last time I remember. Yeah, you're right. Yep. Twitch actually had a lot more too. Might be something else to get back into or try again. Yep. Red Streak, digital comics are great in my opinion. Great high-res art with an easy to access from story. Exactly. Yep. 100%. And I realize, you know, digital comics aren't for everybody, for sure. But there are a lot of people that do like them, and I think now, if you've got the option to do it, you may as well, because you might find an audience there. You might not be a great salesman, right? And unless you're hitting. Think about it. This is the way I look at it, okay? So let's say Jessup King is a paper comic, and I don't have the money, let's say, to travel or something. That means I can only go to my local little area. Maybe I can drive 4 hours away. So the biggest one for me would be Toronto. There's a few surrounding areas, but that's great. So I send it out there. Maybe let's just assume it does awesome. So I sell out at every show that's local. That's great. In my opinion, I'm not saying that that's like a waste of time, but I would assume I would eventually you would have to go to New York, Chicago, San Diego, Toronto, Seattle, Ottawa, you know, like the big ones in North America, let alone crossing the ocean, just to see like if those start making big things, then you know you got something. But with the digital stuff, you don't have to leave. You can just post and I believe, and that's what I'm trying to do, and we'll see how it goes, right, is if I'm streaming and sharing the creation of all this stuff, that I'll find an audience that's interested in the process, that'll potentially be interested in what I'm doing, and they'll share the process, and that process could get shared to people that might pick up the book that way. But there's two different audiences. There's an audience for people that like drawing and the process of, and there's the audience that likes just reading comics. They're two very different audiences. The people like everybody in this room that's watching this, most likely, and this isn't a bad thing, I just understand this, are probably not going to spend money to buy a Jessup comic. There's a small percentage that might, but the people that would buy this are not people that are in the YouTube thing. And once you can break into that audience, then there's your money with that stuff. I suppose the next question after that, what platform they read on? Exactly, yep. Tablets are great. Tablets are absolutely great. Although we talked about it last time, you only need 2,000 people to. Yeah, exactly. If you haven't had a chance to read like the Marvel Unlimited app, I think you can get it for free. Just to give an example, if you got like a tablet, even on the phone, it's not that bad. Depending on the size of your phone, but on a tablet, it feels great. Okay, where the hell am I going? Okay, so we finished this one. I think those are all done. What is this one? That one he's climbing. That one we finished. That one we finished. Okay, this one I don't think we finished. This one I think just blend into a crowd. But I think everybody's little audience is going to be different. That's why I do recommend sharing your stuff, and everybody too. Like, I mean, I can't back it up. Like, I don't have the greatest success with it so far that I would assume, where like a lot of other people do. But that's just me. I'd recommend just streaming what you guys are doing, because it's an easy, like, you're drawing anyway. Sometimes you don't even have to talk. You know, you can just listen to music in the background, and like that's it. You don't have to do really anything. But what you're actually doing is building an audience that way for free, you know. And then once it comes time for you to pull the trigger and ask people for money or to read your or to check out your thing, at least you'll have something built there. I'm very much of the mindset of not waiting to build an audience. Just make just share, and then once the time comes, you might have something. You might not. But to wait, I think, is a fool's game. Waiting is no good in everything you do. Waiting just stalls progress, right? And I know going into this too, you might want to think about it this way too. It might be sound a little defeatist, but I know like Jessup in this case, it's still fresh, and it's most likely, I'd probably say 80 to 90% most likely that the next thing I work on will be something that'll be a lot more successful than Jessup. Just because it's the first thing I'm doing, right? You got to establish trust with people and all that stuff. Like think about yourself, right? When was the last time you bought something that an artist made? That like an independent artist, not a published artist. And if it's been a while, or if you've never done it, then just expand that out to like everybody else. You know what I mean? Batman would definitely buy Jessup. Thank you, man. Thank you. Ben, I streamed the process working on the bigger poster cover request month and a half, and the viewers made it so much easier to work on it. Right on. Yeah, I love streaming with you guys too, because you guys start asking questions and I ramble, and then next thing I know, it's been a couple hours. You know. would be nearly impossible to produce since you're so busy as it is, but I would listen to a real talk, which real talk. You know, I actually had I was doing that for a little bit on Patreon. A little like I don't know if I call it a podcast, but this little audio thoughts. Yeah, the crowd scenes always take a while. The benefit, though, this is gonna sound like total cheese, is that this card, right, in real life is like it's about. Let me see if I can hold it here. Maybe around this size. So like outside of this row and this row here, detail really doesn't matter. So I'm 100% going to be cheesing a lot of this. Right? Because like I can just start doing this stuff here with the heads. And then we're going to put buildings and shit back here. Then we're going to put some trees. Maybe some more trees back here. And we're done. Let's put some clothes on these people though, eh? Oh, don't worry about that, man. Thank you for, supporting me when you did. You gotta take care of number one, you know? John, I wanted to ask you about making our own brush. Oh, like how to do one? Like how do you make one? Holy diver, you went out in the midnight sea. Oh, what you coming of me? Yeah. So how to make one is you just go like this. Let me just make a new layer here, or a new file, or whatever. So you just make a shape. I don't know. Let's make something. Texture stuff's usually the easiest. So let's what you want to do is you're just making like a shape. I don't know. Something that might be fun. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. I don't know how well this will work. Let's make a Kirby brush, like a Kirby crackle. Let's do Momo. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to just make a little, just like patterns or whatever, right? So we'll do that. I'll make another layer. I'll show you why I'm doing this in a second, and we'll do one more. Okay, so let's start with this first one. What you want to do is make a selection, right? So like that. I don't know how tight you want to be around it. I like this. I don't know, so I try to like just subtract the selection. Yeah, let me zoom in. I think it might know where this is. We'll see in a second. All right, so you just make that, and then you go up to Edit, Register Material. And we're gonna go Image. Click that, and I'm gonna call it something. I'll call it Kirby Crackle 1. Okay, and then you want to go down here for Use for Brush Tip Shape. Click that, and then I go in here to All Materials. Click that. Image Materials Brush, and then you can make a search tag. So I'm just gonna put Kirby. You can put as many of these as you want in there. You'll see why in a second. So that I'm gonna do that for each one of these, and I'll show you why. Let's try with this one. I just want to see if I do all of. Actually, yeah, let's try Edit, Register Material. Let's see if it does it on its own. Yeah, it looks like it is. Okay. So Kirby Crackle 2. Use for brush tip shape. All materials, image material, brush, search tag, Kirby. And we'll do it again on this last one. Register image. Kirby Crackle 3. Use for brush tip shape. All materials, image material, brush. Make a search tag. Okay. Alright, so now we got that. Now, what we would do is we're going to go to our brushes again. Now, you have to find something that's... This is where it gets a little lame, I suppose. Is you can adjust all this, but if you can find like a brush that's similar to what you want to do, great. So for a lot of us, it's probably just pressure sensitivity, right? So you could go in the default ones, like watch. I'll just go in the default pens. Hey, how's it going, Lawrence? Right in here, and I'm just gonna pick like I don't know. Let me make a new layer. Let's find one of these that looks kind of. I don't know if I like that. How's the mapping pen? Yeah, I always like the mapping pen a little better. So let's do that. All right, so we're gonna have that. Then you just click it and duplicate it. Right. We can always rename this stuff later, so just click OK. It's gonna duplicate it now. From in here, you go down here. Sorry. Where is it? Oh, it's going to be off screen, but in your, here, let me bring it up. Your tool property, you'll get like this little wrench. So we're going to click in there. Oops, sorry, down here, this wrench. Click that wrench, and then we get this beautiful thing here, right? So we got that. Now what we want to do, you've been working on your, oh, awesome, how's that going? So all you want to do here is right here, brush tip. Or no, sorry, brush shape? I think it's brush tip. Yeah, you go to brush tip, and right now they have the shape to circle. I think you can adjust that a little bit, but we want to go over here to material, right? Because that's what we just made a material. So we're going to click that, and I'm going to click in here and search Kirby, right? And we'll pick, I guess I already had a bunch, so we'll pick the first one we did and hit OK, right? Now watch, when I draw, do you see how all of a sudden it's adding all this really, it actually looks kind of cool. It's adding like this little texture to everything. That's not what we want, right? This is where we have to fiddle around and play around with stuff. So we're gonna have that material in there. Let's see. This is where you'll have to noodle with stuff. So let's check brush shape. Mine takes a little while to like click around. Maybe dotted line. Let's see what we got. Spraying effect. Particle size. Whoa. See, what I want is it's like spacing. Gap, I think that's what they call it in here. There we go. Kind of getting there. See what's happening here? Continuous spraying? I don't know. Repeat method. Let's turn that off. Like, I don't want it to go too small when we're drawing, right? Alright, what we need is some randomization in there. So maybe let's go back to brush shape, or forget which one it is, shape or tip. Tip. Yeah, okay, it's gonna be here. So what I'm also gonna do, check this out. We're gonna click this again, and I'm gonna type Kirby. So what we're gonna start doing is that I don't know if this will, like, it'll randomly pick which one, but it's changing the size. What I would love for it to do is to randomly pick which material it's using, but I don't know if it's going to do that. Might be able to see if there's like a randomizer or something. So direction, random would be great. Let's say direction of pen. Yeah, what the hell? Or random. There we go. Yeah. So when I'm turning it random, basically it's going to put each one of these materials down, but it's going to change how it's putting it down. We can find out the direction. You can see it all changing up there. Brush density. Yeah, we want that full. Direction of applying. I want that random as well. Oh, no, I don't. See, so if I click 1, 2, 3. Let's see something here. But anyway, this is how you would start noodling around with some of this shit. Brush size. think something like this, I'm just gonna close it for now. I think that that might work, right? So once I have it, this is another thing too. Some of you guys might not be aware of, and it's super powerful. Is let's say you get brush sizes that you really like, and you always want to have that default. Is like right here, you just click this little wrench. That way, it always locks those settings. Okay. So I'm just gonna put that back down here, and it should work. I mean, you know, it needs some finesse for sure, but like, I don't know. Let's say we had. Whoops, where's my brush? There we go. That's what I want. I don't know. Does it get more superhero than this, right? Like Mickey Mouse kind of glove. Mickey with cosmic powers. Alright, so do that, and so we'll just do a little test. So it feels like it's a little splatty. It doesn't feel as, you know what I mean? But this is what you would do all day, is just sort of figure this out. See, what I'm noticing right away is it's not changing the size. Brush size. Anyway, I don't spend too much time in here. Those dots are way too clustered. Anyway, so that would just be an example. Raphael, how's it going, buddy? Yeah, no, that's the Kirby Crackle there is just way out of whack. But it was just an example of like how you could go about doing that stuff. And that wind is brutal outside. Looking spooky. Nothing really new. No. Same old boring stuff. All right, this guy. Let's give him like do some glasses on this guy. The rest we can make up when we get there. Alright, so I believe all of the roughs are done now. So we can go in there and start working on some tight line art. I'm kind of getting bored of looking at this shit all the time. Alright, so close all this stuff. And let's open up this first one. Alright, so file, save as. And we're going to go into light art. Alright, we'll start with this guy. So that line art looks way too big. How's this? Yeah, that'll be fine. Oh, thanks, Raphael. I appreciate that, dude. John, have you ever tried your hand at Inktober before? No, no, I haven't. No. When I first heard about it, I thought it was really cool. But every October that comes around, I got other stuff to do. I think it's easier for people to do October, like Inktober, that are full-time artists that are already doing the thing they want to do. When I come home and I want to work on comics, I don't have time to schedule in just an Inktober thing. For better or for worse. I don't think it's a bad idea. I think a lot of people get a lot of gain out of it and stuff, but just it's not my thing. I think a lot of people, what people benefit the most out of it from, I imagine, besides just wanting to be in, the social circles with that stuff, is it gives you a sense of accomplishment. You start something and you're finishing it, and that's great. You learn a lot that way. And sometimes you just want a nice excuse to draw in your sketchbook, right? But I just got too much going on. I feel like I've got too much going on every year around this time. What are you using to ink this tablet wise? I use just my own custom brushes here. Like this brush here is pretty much just a boring dead pixel brush. Like there's a little tiny bit of pressure sensitivity, but this is just meant to be akin to like working with a micron. Hey Chad, how's it going, buddy? Are you not working on Jessup King anymore? I haven't been on in a while. No, not right now. Right now, I've got just this client stuff to wrap up here. These RPG cards, and then we're going back into Jessup. So I would say, uh, on Patreon anyway, you guys will start hearing stuff next week, like pre-production kind of things. Uh, but like actual, like we'll be streaming and stuff too, for the most part. Uh, but there won't be anything posted till like the end of October, or actually no, November for sure. November is, if anything, is when we'll start seeing stuff. Probably a little longer than November, to be honest, unless you're on Patreon. I like how you just draw the clothes on so clean. So thanks, dude. Just practice, practice, practice. I know you probably heard that to death. Gonna start with the world building on the second issue. No, so well, what I will be working on for issue 2, 3, and 4 is like a three-part story, and the arc, I guess you call it, is the Lich Mother or the Lich Queen. I think it's the Lich Mother, Lich Queen. No, not Lich. What do I? Leech Mother. That's what it's. Leech. Why am I saying Lich? Too much fantasy on the mind. Uh, so what I wanted to start doing is the way I'm doing Jessup going forward is they'll be between like I don't know, I keep saying like 12 and 22 pages. I don't think I want to go over 22, maybe 24, but that way I can release them every couple of months. You know, I don't want to sit in the shop too long. So what this also does, which is great, is it allows me to sort of write the scripts a little bit more tight. I'm not. I'm still doing I'm not changing what I'm doing because I'm not fixing what I don't think's broken just yet. Just getting tighter and better with what I'm already doing. The thing is with the 22 pages and stuff is it's a little bit more like a mainstream comic, not so much like resting on a moment sort of scenes. You know, like devoting 3 pages to just showing the world. Not that I wouldn't do that, but it's let's just keep the story moving in that. So I'm excited to get into doing all that kind of stuff. So I already know what I'm working on right now is just ironing out the plots. So once the plots are done, then I don't say it's super easy, but the plots are done. The main plots. So for those that don't know how I write with this stuff is I'll do like I like to call them note cards. You can use paper, whatever, but you start with three note cards for beginning, middle, and end, right? And once those are ironed out for the entire arc, then I do them again for each issue. So let's just say it's this chase scene. So act one or arc, you know, whatever. The beginning of the three here is he's being chased. The middle is he meets somebody that can help him get out of this situation. And the end is he gets caught. Okay, so let's just say that's an issue. So that's only 3 plots, but those are the main plots of the story. If it's a 22-page issue, I have to come up with the difference, so 19 more plots, and then those become basically what each page will be. So there's not really writing; it's just what happens on the page is what I got to worry about. Then once I have that done, then I'm gonna do the next stage for me, which is usually just the concept art, like what needs to be designed to get this going. And then after that, it's let's get going. Let's get this party started. Just give me 1 second here, guys. I'll be right back. Alright, we're back. We're back, we're back. So some of these, like this background too, I'm going to be cheesing. That's all I do is cheese. I'm not even an artist. I just copy them. Since again, I said this a bajillion times already. Since everything is going to be so small on these cards, it allows for a little bit of creative freedom. So the backgrounds, I'm going to just ink them in. I'm not going to do line art for them. There's no point. For some, I mean, especially this one. This one's like a chase scene. Clip Studio is not 1.6.8. Most of the Windows 10 Creative. I haven't really been following with the updates. Is there some good stuff out there? Yeah, see you, brother.
looks like a meeple down there. It's funny. Oh, fuck, I keep drawing the wrong way. Hey, Jessup. Jessup. What are you doing? What's up? You coming in here? Come on. Wanna come lay down? Come on, bud. Alright. So I think after if we draw this character here, we're gonna wrap it up. I feel like that foot's just bigger. Here, let's try this here.
Hmm. Cool. Okay, well, I will see you guys and you ladies later. I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to join me. And whatever you're working on this weekend, I hope it's turning out great and all that good stuff. All right, guys. See you on the next stream. Take care. Keep reading comics. Keep making comics. And I will talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.